So I know this is going to be a shorter video than I normally post on these days, but something I kind of want to talk about. I know everyone always talks about the Tomb Raider reboots that were started in 2013, I think, and went up to like 2018 with the Shadow of the Tomb Raider being the last one. And obviously the movie also in 2018, I think. But I want to just talk about the interesting releases that happened at this time, because this was a big anniversary period for the franchise. It was basically the whole time around the 20th, and was the 20th anniversary of the franchise. It was a weird time for Tomb Raider. The first one in 2013 was, Tomb Raider. But also, later, the game released on PS4 as Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Now that might not sound weird, but the PS3 had another release of Tomb Raider, which was Tomb Raider Game of the Year Edition, which I don't have. But it's basically the same thing as Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, so why not just call the Game of the Year Edition the Definitive Edition, or vice versa for the PS4, call that the Game of the Year Edition. I don't quite understand why they didn't just use the same thing. Why have two totally different versions of the game that are basically the exact same game? I know other game companies do this a lot, but it just seems weird. Now, in 2015, the second one of this reboot series came out, which was Rise of the Tomb Raider, the 20-year celebration. This is the 20-year celebration edition, and it has the art book and slipcase. Very nice. Looks like a nice journal. But this case is, obviously because the case is an art book, it's a lot slimmer and taller than a normal case. You can kind of see that here a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell, but obviously you can see it's taller. This version is really cool. I really like it. I wanted this specifically. It's a whole mini art book showing the history of the game, all that kind of stuff, some older games as well, history of the franchise, some fan art. Looks really nice, and then all the way at the back you have the game. What was also weird with this one is Microsoft got exclusive rights to put Rise of the Tomb Raider also on the Xbox 360, which is another weird release. It runs terrible apparently and is not good. And the best way to play it is just play the PC version or play the PS4 version or the regular Xbox One version. Why they thought it was a good idea to release it on the Xbox 360, I have no idea. But it is a thing. It's weird. It's a weird release. Like I said, that's what this video is about. And then when did Rise of the Shadow of the Tomb Raider come out? 2018, I think. We had Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now this had many little versions, not really little, but different releases. It had obviously a regular case version. I think it had a collector's version as well. And then it also had the Croft Steelbook edition, which was only available on Square Enix, I think. I think you could only get it directly from Square Enix, which has a nice Steelbook case. Very cool. And Square Enix, as a rewards member, also had a different Steelbook case, I think, that you could get. And I love Steelbooks. They have a nice slipcover, so it kind of blends in with all the other ones, and it doesn't just look like this. Like The Last of Us 2 is just like this, and it's kind of annoying to put on a shelf. But I like it when they do a slipcase outside of the regular Steelbook to make it look more like a regular game on your shelf. Very nice. But yeah, the game has some codes. My download codes don't work. You can't see them anyway. But it also had, I've never opened these before, but it also had some little art cards from the first game or two, I think. I've never opened it, and I don't plan to. But yeah, you can see the artwork from the first game, which I will compare now. See? Same thing. So while I was doing research for this video, I actually found a few more interesting versions of the Tomb Raider reboot games. In 2013, we also had a greatest hits of Tomb Raider on the PS3, and there was also a survival kit thing as well. And I know I already mentioned the Tomb Raider Game of the Year edition, which was on the PS3, and then the PS4 got the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. The only difference between these versions was that the PS4 basically had some updated graphics, like you'd expect, being a jump between consoles and generations. Rise of the Tomb Raider had more versions than I thought it did, and so did Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So Rise of the Tomb Raider obviously had the regular 20-year celebration version that was released on the 20th year. But when it released originally on the 360, it did not. It has different box art completely because it was released a year before the anniversary in 2015. So it's kind of weird. A totally different box art, same game, probably worse on the 360. Because they got exclusive rights, which was weird to release it first on Xbox stuff. I don't know, it's weird. But in addition to Rise of the Tomb Raider on the 360, we also had the 20-year celebration limited edition. This is the version of the game I have that has the art book. We also got the Apex Predator pack on the Xbox One. This is really weird. It's just like it comes with like a extra DLC. It's weird. Like, this is the only version that has this on the 360. That's it. And I think it was only released in the UK. It's weird. Tomb Raider does this a lot, because I have a version that was only released in other countries that's also like this, never released in the US. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider gets more interesting with, obviously, we have the regular Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but we also have the Definitive Edition, which was released like after all the DLC came out in 2019. That has every DLC. You know, pretty nice. The Croft Steelbook Edition comes with all that DLC. So this is basically that, just the non-Steelbook version. So there's another Steelbook version of the game called the Limited Steelbook Edition, which is not the Croft Steelbook Edition, totally different. What's the difference between these? I don't even know. Probably just this one doesn't have the DLC. We're getting like really far into the weeds here. Like, it's odd. And then finally, we have the Shadow of the Tomb Raider Ultimate Edition, which had, you know, like your typical statue collector's box, all that. And it was the Croft Steelbook edition of the game. But that's all of them. Like, it's a lot, man. All right, but back to the video. Yeah, that's the weird releases of Tomb Raider. I know this is a short video, but I thought it was kind of interesting to talk about and mention. And I will post pictures of the other weird things I mentioned in this video that I don't have. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you have any of these weird releases of Tomb Raider. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.